What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. All right. As we know, today is Saturday, which basically means it's some writing. All right. So before we get started, I just got to set up a couple things. We're going to wait for a few people to show up because it is Saturday. Let's share the thing. All writing live and enjoying the show. Yeah, we're already singing. We're already trying to do what we can. Going to show people how to ultimately write prose. Let's do it. Okay. So, writing prose. Oh, this is my favorite part, just getting the show ready, getting people waiting for the day to start, right? Let's see. Let's get 25. I'm setting up the page, okay? I'm setting up the page. How's everyone doing out there? Please let me know. We're about to start. I'm just waiting for a couple more people to show up. We will be going over prose today. Prose, we're going to show the difference between descriptive prose, purple prose, and lyrical prose, and all the other prose you can prose. Prosinate prose. All right, descriptive prose. All right, and then we're going to do purple prose, and then we're going to do, well, let's do it this way. Lyrical prose. All right, that's the big question. Hello, everyone. What's up? How's it going out there? Remember, during the live show, if you have questions about writing, whether your own writing or what we're talking about, please feel free. This is your opportunity, sort of like a developmental edit / writing teacher at your disposal. We are here to answer questions, but more importantly, we are going to go over the different styles of prose, but how to make those prose. David Prose. Honestly, Flowers, I would say, Prose was a Darth Vader, and he had an excellent accent for obvious reasons. But I don't know if you know this, but he died when he was 85. It's just fun stuff. All right. Okay. Let's really get to the bottom of this, baby. All right, I'm just trying to get my stuff all. Okay, we're still waiting for a couple more people, and then we're going to start. I'm going to show you. I'm basically going to write a descriptive pro. I'm going to write the same pro lyrically, and then I'm going to write it purpley prose. Then go over sort of the differences between them. But then I'm going to show you how to take any one of those styles and give them a little bit more strength, because some people like writing purpley. I'm a lyrical. I like writing lyrical prose personally, and some people like to be very descriptive. And we're going to show to have a logical narrative purpose. So that should be really fun. All right. Okay. All right. Now we got some people. So what are the big differences? Okay. If we look at descriptive prose, all right. Let's do this so we can get some. So I was sort of behind. I was writing out music stuff, and then I was like, "Oh, it's almost time." Also, how's it sound out there? Does it sound good? Do I sound like I'm in water? Let's get that going. Hello. Trying to get the sound going stronger. All right, let's do this. Yes, I sound like I'm in water, or yes, I sound good. That's really the question. And I heard what you were talking about last. I listened to the video again, Flowers, and I was like, oh yes, yeah. It was probably a mixture of things. Anyway, let's do this. All right. So, descriptive prose. Yes, underwater, but not as bad as last week. Oh, son of a. I don't know what it is. I'll have to figure it out. On my monitor, it sounds really good, but how long? You know, I'll have to do that on my own time. All right. What is a descriptive prose? All right. Well, let's talk about that first. Descriptive prose, ultimately, okay. These are going to be, they're just going to tell you what's going on. They're either going to they're going to use the senses. They're going to say, mostly it's in sight. Like literally, Thomas walks through the door into the room. Right. That's just the action. But then to describe it, we'll be like, well, what kind of door? What kind of room? Right. And descriptive is usually and most likely very clear. It's straightforward. It's vivid, right? And it also helps to enhance ultimately the story experience. But it lacks what some might say the poetic touch of lyricism or the fantasy base purplish, right? So again, description is when it is clear, the clarity, it balances clarity and vivid imagery. Whereas lyrical prose, all right, these have a poetic, sometimes metaphorical, there's an alliteration, there's a rhythm and a cadence, right? And the prose are slightly elevated, all right? So we will show the difference between that. But if I was going to give like a straightforward example before I got into writing, think of like, I don't know, if like somebody, whatever, the lanterns, the lanterns golden glow, stretched long shadows across the cobblestone, flickering in the soft night breeze, right? That would be like a descriptive pro. If I was going to show that, let me, what did I say? The lanterns, golden glow, stretched long shadows across the cobblestone, flickering in the soft night breeze. Okay, boom. There you go. That's a straightforward descriptive prose, right? The lantern's golden glow stretched long shadows across the cobblestone, flickering in the soft light breeze. Now, lyrical prose, as I said, they will allow for a more metaphorical or poetic touch to it. There will be more of an alliteration, maybe. The cadence would be there, almost like you're reading a musical melody. So maybe we would change the way. Let's see. If I was to take this again, right, instead of like, we can be a little bit more playful with this golden glow, right? So maybe the lanterns glow blended let's see, glow blended in the honey hues, stretched, right? So lanterns glow, the lanterns glow blended in honey hues, stretching across cobblestone road, street roads, like fingers stretching out from buildings. The flicker of rhythmic dances softened in the night breeze, right? So this would be horribly spelled, though. Let's see if I spelled everything right. I can't spell. Spelling is without you. All right, maybe I spell. Congratulations, Thomas. You get a drink. All right, so there you go. The lanterns glow, blended in honey hues, stretching across cobblestone roads like fingers reaching out from buildings. The flicker of rhythmic dances soften in the distant night breeze. So it's not as quote unquote clear, okay, but it adds a little bit more atmosphere. All right. Now, purple prose, the reason people tell us as writers to avoid the prose of the purple is because it is usually overwritten descriptions, often redundant, and it really slows the pacing, and sometimes it feels self-indulgent. So let's see if I could. All right, so if I was going to take this, I could be like the fireboxed lanterns in their isolation. Right, not amber-hued rays, or lantern. And lantern. Oh, a lantern light is one word. Lantern. I think so. Oh no, it's two words. Lantern light. Right, and then you might say something like, "Oh, cascaded over the ancient, time-worn cobblestone in an in a quiet bell, a shadow and shimmer, painting the night streets with a celestial. Did I spell that right? Celestial? Maybe. I hope I did. Celestial symphony of radiance. Now, I did go way overboard with that. However, oh, we got a question. What do we got? Sorry. Hi, was just wondering, watching the Paranormal Files with a guy called Colin from Murder in America. And he was doing a video on, oh, yes, the Daphne murders. Yeah, that was some interesting stuff. I believe that's based on the Black Dahlia murders, but I could be. Oh no, I'm trying to remember it. Is that Abigail or something like that? I don't remember. I don't really watch the news. I watch movies, television, and read books. But other than that, and by the way, hello, Hannah Hot. Thank you for joining us. So as you can see, this is really over the top. The firebox. Oh, it's with the two girls that got murdered. The mother, right? The mother murdered them. She was like, I believe so. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But beep, beep. Okay. So purple prose. So the firebox lanterns in their isolation shot amber-hued lantern light are cascaded over the ancient, time-worn cobblestone in a quiet ballet of shadow and shimmer, painting the night streets with a celestial symphony of radiance. Now, usually purple prose do this, and they we don't know what's going on, and it's just, I personally would consider butification, just going on. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Right? So the one thing that these examples have that commonly occurs with writing is that they lack a point of view, a POV, a perspective, which means there is no story here, right? So remember, a narrative, everyone knows on this channel, a narrative is made up of both plot and story. Plot is what needs to happen no matter what, and story is how it unfolds through the emotional experiences and choices of your characters. And I stayed home the whole week except for Thursday, but I came home early. I do. Oh, yeah, you gotta drink some tea. You gotta drink some tea, relax yourself, don't talk too much. That'll definitely help the cough. So yeah, so a story again is through the emotional choice unfolds. The plot unfolds through the emotional experiences and choices of your character. And since these, oh, I'm so sorry that you have the flu. Yeah, that's not really that's not a fun thing to deal with, especially when you're just trying to enjoy life. I'm gonna take my picture off here so we can see the whole screen. Okay, so when you're looking at this again, it's common for writers to either have a descriptive pro, a lyrical pro, or a purple pro, and it is missing what we call perspective or quote unquote the story, right? So if the character is not involved in the description, the lyrical pro or the purple pro, it becomes things are happening, but nothing is happening. So yeah, things are happening. The lanterns glow, golden glow, stretch long shadows across the cobblestone, flickering in the soft night breeze. That is technically something happening, but nothing is happening. And the way we fix this, when you're writing a descriptive pro, to give it real strength, to give it value, to give it a depth and sustenance or substance, right? All you have to do is add a character's perspective and how it is influencing them. So not only, because then this becomes less than just atmosphere and description, because description for description's sake doesn't necessarily move the plot forward. Remember, one of the big rules we utilize or we teach on this channel is that every single sentence, must have one or more of these three things: plot forward, okay, character development, and world building. It doesn't have to have all three, but it can. It could have two of those, but it must always have at least one of those. We know right now there is no world building because we're not necessarily learning about the world. We're not understanding its cultures, its political landscape, its religious aspects. Maybe if I called the lantern, a frum frum, right? The frum frum's golden glow stretched long, right? Now people will be, but then people will be like, I don't know what a frum frum is. So, yeah, there's world building, but it's not necessarily educating us as writers. So we're not learning the world, right? Plot forward is always just going to be that moves the narrative forward. So what's next, right? We don't know what's next in this description. It's just the description, right? And then additionally, the character development is anything we learn about the character through their choices, how they're experiencing things, maybe their history or any information on them. For example, it could be as simple as, she looked into his golden yellow eyes with flickers of green. We learn something about the character descriptively, but we're not necessarily learning anything about the character developmentally. So what is it about those eyes that are telling of who they are? And now that becomes character development, right? Okay. Because if it's just she looked into his green eyes, right? We're learning more about her than we are about him because she is noticing something about him. So that develops the character a little bit. But anyway, so how do we make this sentence, this descriptive pro, stronger, right? We have to move the plot forward, add character or world building. Could be any one of those, any two, or any three of those. So the lantern's golden glow stretch long shadows across the cobblestone, flickering against Alyssa's face with Alyssa's face as the soft night breeze touched her tan skin, right? Amber skin. Okay, amber cheeks. Cheeks? Did I spell that right? Cheeks. Red. All right, anyway, okay, I was just talking about the one sentence. So what did I just do? I just made this we are experiencing this moment. Now we definitely know that Elsa is the one that notices this without us saying she looked. Oh, Elsa saw the lanterns. Because remember, if you write, Elsa saw, right? I mean, Alyssa saw the lantern, right? We know when we're editing, when we're doing line editing, this is a filter word, saw, felt, right? However, you can write stuff like they felt the presence of their teacher looming over them, right? That's okay. That's not necessarily a filter word. It's descriptive. Or like they watched. You could say, oh, watching some, because that is active, right? But saw, like saw the light across the room. Well, just show the light across the room. So that's why you just take it out and you just use the description. He saw the lantern's light. How about the lantern's light? Golden glow stretched long shadows across the cobblestone, flickering against Alyssa's face as the soft night breeze touched her amber cheeks. All right. You could even start adding a little character. She pulled tight her cloak, leaning her head forward to avoid the sting. Cool, right? Or cold. Right? Okay. So now we've taken a descriptive pro, and we've added layers of experience and choices. Where's the choice? Well, the choice is she pulled tight her cloak, leaning her head. She's making choice. That's what choices look like, by the way. It doesn't have to necessarily be like they went left or they went right. A choice is that they're reacting to the experience. So the experience is, well, first we create the atmosphere and the scene. The lanterns golden glow, stretch long shadows across the cobblestone, right? Flickering against Elsa's face, so we know the lantern's golden and the shadows against her face as the soft night breeze touched her amber cheeks. So we added sight, we added touch, right? Then she pulled tight her wool. I think it's not figure right. Thick wool cloak. Okay. She pulled tight her thick wool cloak. We added some descriptive words right now, leaning her head forward to avoid the sting of cold. Now, so it's pretty traditional when it comes to cold, right? So, but the point is, she's making choices. She's experiencing the moment. The plot is moving forward. It's cold, right? She is in a city. She is present in that moment, right? So we took one descriptive sentence and we added a little something to it. You could even do a night maybe a bell. A bell rang, calling home all those on the street. Something like that. A bell rang in the distance. Okay. Echoing in the steps of people running home. Okay, now that becomes world building. I had to, because I'm writing in third person limited, so I had to take away the when you tell something, like if you go, they ran away from the street because the bell had rang, and it tells that becomes more omniscient than it does third person. Because remember, third person limited is close to the narrative perspective, so what they are experiencing and how they are experiencing it is third person limited. So that's why I changed that sentence, if anyone's wondering. Anyway, a bell rang in the distance, echoing in the steps of people running home. So now we actually, the short, what is this, 3 sentences? 4 sentences. It has plot, character development, world building, and it's descriptive and it's clear. All right. So when you choose to either be descriptive, lyrical, or purpley, I would recommend not being purpley, just because, like, what is this? What's being said? But lyrical allows for a mixture of clarity, and it's just like I said, it adds a little bit of alliteration. You could have, this has a cadence to it. The lanterns glow blended in honey hues, alliteration. stretching across cobblestone roads like fingers reaching out from buildings. Okay, there's all right. The flicker of rhythm dances or dance, I should say. Dance soft in the distant night breeze. All right, this is repetitive, right? But it adds to the rhythm. So that's the thing when you're writing purple lyrical prose. Sometimes you have to add a word again to create that rhythm because remember it's lyrical. But I would recommend a mixture between descriptive prose and lyrical prose. So when you want to slow down your pace a little bit and you want to breathe in the moment with your characters, you can go into the more lyrical element of it, you know. For example, let's see. Let's say the lanterns glow, blended in honey hues, stretching roads like fingers reaching out from the buildings. All right. Each orange lash of light flickered. Okay. Each orange lash of light flickered against Elsa's face. As the soft, this is how you change the right. So the soft breeze of night touched her amber cheeks, right? There you go. So that's an example of it. We just made it a little bit more flowery, right? So that's all lyrical prose. Each orange lash of light, or each lash of light, each lash of orange light flickered against Alyssa's face as the soft breeze of night touched her amber. Right. So again, I would use lyrical prose to sort of like control the pacing, slow it down a little bit, let it breathe. And the reason is because maybe the character's experiencing the moment. However, keep in mind the POV of your character, whether third person or especially first person, okay? It would be filtered through that character. So I am establishing Alyssa's perspective of the world and how she experiences it by the word choices. Now, let's say I have another character named like Jake. Okay. If I had a character named Jacob, all right, right, Rhodes lived in shadow and light, right? Or yeah, Rhodes lived in shadow and light. So Jacob his eyes latched on the alley corners, right? Corners. So the Rhodes lived in shadow and like, okay, Rhodes, corners, Rhodes. This is actually more. Sorry, I was thinking in lyrical. All right, so there you go. So Jacob strolled with his eyes latched on the alley corners of Rhodes, living in shadow and light. Quick clicks of boots and worry ran across cobblestone, shutting doors. Their ending. All right, so that's lyrical, right? But what's happening is I'm taking the same technical scene, right? Because I added the bell, right? Yeah, bell. All right, I'm adding the same elements, but now because Jacob is experiencing this, and by the way, this is a really good exercise for writers as well. You take a moment and then you just kind of put it through the perspective of somebody else. So what is the big thing that's happening here? Well, Jacob is maybe paranoid. He is maybe a soldier. Maybe he is just trying. He's worried. He's afraid. So his eyes latched on the alley corners of roads, living in shadow and light. This might also be telling of the world itself. Maybe he lives in a dangerous area. But the same scene, Alyssa, she's just more worried about the cold. But they both hear, right? So Ella's face off, right? A bell rang in the distance, echoing the steps of people running home. So to her, they're just running home. To Jacob, he is placing narrative on it of clicks of boots and worry ran across the cobblestone. I don't know if anyone's ever really talked about that when writing, but that's what it means when you place descriptions in the POV. So if you have, say, two POVs in your story, you have one, alternating chapters or whatever the case is, right? When you're describing moments, it's not really about the words you want to use. It's about the words that best represent how the character is experiencing that world. If that makes sense. So in that same situation, Alyssa's not really in a rush. She's just sort of she's just trying to stay warm. Whereas Jacob's, his pace is a little quicker because the pace is the speed at which information is presented to the reader. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions, by the way, about what I'm doing, about descriptive prose, lyrical prose, about how I'm adding experience and choice into it, and how I have adjusted the passages based on the POVs of the characters? If you have questions about it, please let me know. I'd love to go into a little bit deeper based on what you need clarity on, unless it all makes sense. If it all makes sense, let me know also. The comments help me. They drive these live showings. Anyway. But I'll say this real quick. Key differences between these really is a descriptive pro, this right here. Boop, 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 boop. All right. This is always going to serve the story. It's going to keep the story going forward. It maintains clarity and keeps the reader in the moment. Lyrical prose, these are going to enhance the mood, the atmosphere, the tone. It's going to add a little bit of poetic beauty to it, right? It's going to get a touch of something, right? Whereas these purple prose, sometimes, if not always, will overwhelm the reader and often distract from the story, to be honest. All right. There we go. I think it's just me and one other person now. So there it is. By the way, if you have questions, we got hey, what's up? It's just Flowers and me now. I understand the choices a bit more now, not huge choices, etc. Teeny weeny ones. Yes, they count too. Yeah. How a character reacts, to the environment, to the experience, to emotions. For example, if you read a character having tea, you just made a choice for that character. Tea would technically be character development. You're telling the reader they chose tea over anything. And every character would have a different beverage. I might have a dietary Pepsi. Someone might have a Coca-Cola. Someone might have water. Right? So it could be as teeny weeny as that and really influence the character, right? But also, the thing that really builds the emotional connection to a reader are these little things right here, where it touched her face, the flicker of rhythm dancing, where she where is it? She pulled tight her thick wool cloak, leaning her head forward to avoid the sting of snake. This right here, not only does it pull us into the scene, but we're experiencing the scene through her choices and her reaction. And that's what makes it a little stronger for readers to embrace, is that it becomes something. Not only can they in their head picture, but at the same time, I'm getting to know who she is, how she reacts to things. In fact, if somebody let's say I had somebody come out of the alleyway with a knife, give me all money, and she rips her cloak off and throws it on him and then runs. that's a choice, right? She's not necessarily afraid. She's using a brain. She's intelligent. She's strategic, uh, and she stayed calm and cool and collective while she threw a cloak off over the thing and ran as fast as he can because she knew I don't have a weapon. This person has a weapon. They look a little stronger than me, so I'm just going to throw the cloak and run. And we now just learned something about the character, and it's so amazing when you start really looking at the page and seeing how you can add those choices. Like, for example, I had a character in a story that got lost with a group, and the group was like frustrated and making fun of him. And then he's just like, well, since we're lost and we're near the river, why don't we just get some water? We'll refill our canteens and then we'll keep going. That's an experience that's showing that the character is thinking on their feet and can make choices. And that's how you should be looking at your prose, as an opportunity to not only in descriptive prose describe the environment and build your atmosphere, but uses as an opportunity to move the plot forward through the character experience and choices, develop the character through their emotional experiences and choices, and build the world based on their knowledge or knowledge presented. That's something else that's important. If you're writing in third person limited, you shouldn't really divulge world building information beyond the grasp of the character's POV. However, if it's omniscient, obviously I could write, the bell rang in the distance, echoing the steps of people running home. That bell, all these years, it's been a, okay, I can write it. Oh, it has been a pain in the city of Gaul. Right? Like, I could write that in omniscient. The bell, all these years, that bell, and it's ring. Now it rang loud every night at 9. It has been a pain in the city of Gaul and the people who endure it. That right there, this is 100% omniscient. And then you might be saying, but Thomas, and I go, what? And you go, how do I make that in the POV of the character? Well, if the character is thinking it without it being a thought, like let's say Alyssa's like, she thought, we want to get rid of, I always try to say, you get rid of thought if you can, but right. So we could change this into a new beat. A bell rang in the distance, echoing in. A bell. Every night. Its pain drove into her ears, her ears, keeping her awake. In the city of keeping her awake at night in the city of Gaul, and the people endured. So now this becomes a processing. She's technically thinking about this. So a bell rang in the distance, echoing in the steps of people running home. That loud ring every night at 9, and the way its pain drove into her ears, keeping her awake. And because now it becomes a part of her experience or her specific knowledge of that bell. So now it becomes limited again. So that's an example of making sure that if you're trying to write in limited and you're being informative, you still have to allow passages of prose to be informative through the POV of the character's experience and choices. All right. What is it? 40 minutes in? All right, everyone. It's about that time. There's definitely at least 3 viewers. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask. You could ask me questions about what I just went over. You could ask me questions about your own book. You could ask me questions about anything that has to do with writing. I am a developmental editor and a writing teacher, as well as an author and a screenwriter. So this is your time. The floor is yours. It's as if you have one at your fingertips. So if you have questions, please let me know. I'll give it 3 minutes, and then if obviously if there's no questions, we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. Do. Also, has anyone ever seen Jane the Virgin? Very funny show. Very funny show. Watched it a few times now. I know too. I know. I don't know if you could hear it too, but she's crying. She don't want daddy. All right, 40 minutes. Okay. If there's no questions, then I'll do one of these final thoughts. Final thoughts. Oh, wait, we got a question. We got an ARC reader told me so we can see the question a little bit better. An ARC reader told me last week she didn't like my book as my style was very elaborate, then said she adored the humor and characters. Okay. When she said elaborate, does that mean that your plot was I was concerned I was too purpley? All right, well, the elaborate, did she say that the elaborate was reference to the overall complication of the story, or that you over describe things, etc., etc.? The humor and characters, though, that's a really great start as a foundation. Like if your characters and your humor are showing through on the page, that's a good start. It just means that maybe the way you're flowing through the narrative. Oh, she didn't say. Well, you give her an ARC review on her review and say, I need more information. But ultimately, to answer your question, if someone's saying it's very elaborate and they didn't like that style, that could ultimately be subjective. The majority rules, right? That's the law of ARC readers and reviewers and beta readers, is if everyone's saying it's too elaborate, I couldn't get through the chunks of words. I wish it was just dialogue, or why can't it just be summarized each page? Then you gotta adjust things. But if you've had I don't know 10 ARC readers and only one of them is like, hey, it's too elaborate, goodbye. I once had somebody ask, what is the work schedule of one of your characters? And I was like, what's that have to do with she's a slave. She's the first to say it. So hopefully she's the last, and you don't really have to worry about it. If you hear it consistently, that's something to think about. Is this for the book that just came out? The whatchamacallit? The flowers, author. Let's see, where are you? What's the name of your book again? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What is the I'm gonna need your book again. Authors I follow. Okay. Beep. Let's see. Where are you? Beep. Oh, can't find you. Where's the book? All right, I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yesterday was the Valentine's. Today's my nephew's birthday. I guess I should reach out to him and be like, yo! Immortal Bloodline. That's it. Immortal Bloodline. Flowers. There you are. Flowers. All right. It was for Immortal Bloodline. Flowers. May I read the first page and then give you some feedback, or do you want me to keep that off of the internet? Do you want to be like, no, you leave that first page away from the eyes of the viewers? I'm not saying you sound like that. I have to make a voice because I have to indicate that I'm being someone else. No. All right. Consider it not read. I read it though on my own time, and I have to say, very good stuff. Very fun. Very fun. I wouldn't say you're purpley though. You're definitely not purpley. Yeah, you're not purpley. You are not purpley. No. But anyone who wants to check out the book, it's Immortal Bloodline. Let's see. Where is the how do I get this up? Yeah. Where is 1 second? Uno momento, por favor. What's it not for sale yet? When does it go on sale? When can I buy it? Oh yeah, well, I guess I have to look. I have to read more and more and more. I'm trying to nip it in the bud. Listen, if anything, hopefully this video, it's out now. How come I can't? Oh, I see. Read for free or buy with a click. Look at that. You can buy with a click. Don't you want to buy? Is it only on the Kindle? I'm trying to give you a shout out here. It's not letting me do it. Take time with a wounded hand, 'cause it likes to. Interesting. It's in paperback too. It's pretty and shiny. I believe you. I don't know why this side strip thing isn't working. Link checker. All right. Well, anyway, it's shiny. Oh. One link. One link. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't know. What's going on? Whatever. All right. Well, anyway, she has a book out, and I recommend taking a little look, see if that's something you want. And I can't share it. All right, there it is. It was a good video. If anyone has any questions before I go, feel free to ask. But I think we're gonna call it a day. We're gonna call it a day. We're gonna call it a day. Yeah, that's it. All right. Final thoughts. When it comes to doing these descriptive prose, lyrical prose, purple prose, remember, your goal is to always make sure that there's clarity, whether it's pretty writing or straightforward description. You want to make sure that your character's perspective of their emotional experiences and choices are filtered through descriptions, whether it be descriptive, lyrical, or purple. And ultimately, you want to always allow every sentence to either do one of these three elements, one or more of these three elements: plot, character development, or world building. If you do that, your prose will enhance tenfold, I assure you, because then it won't be fluff for fluff's sake, because a description is just a description. But when it's filtered through a character's experience, it becomes something more. All right, that's it. By the way, tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Oh, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Look, I even have one of these little buttons. It really helps. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will be continuing the Write a Book series where you will see on the screen as I work through, I believe I'm on chapter 2. So that should be exciting. I'm excited about that. Anyway, with that, hasta luego, wiedersehen, au revoir, arrivederci. I shall see you next time. As always, keep developing the right mindset. Bye.